Hey everyone, this is Mike Andes. You're listening to the Business Bootcamp podcast. And today we're going to be talking about, talking to an entrepreneur who reached out to me after last week's episode, who is in that category, that middle ground of $200,000 in revenue to $1 million in revenue each year. That middle ground that we were talking about a couple episodes ago. And today we're going to be talking to Kenny, who is the owner or part owner of a pest control company. He's going to give a little background how that all happened, what happened when he's really just started out working in the business as a tech essentially, and then eventually as things happened with the owners, he became the owner. However, now they are in that middle ground that you make money, but you can make a whole lot more, and it's a tough place to be really. And so he's trying to get over that $1 million marker. He wants to get to 1.5. So I wanted to help him today, talk to him and see if there's something we can do online, offline to go from more of a sales strategy to a branding strategy and make his dream true, come to pass of what he can really do with his business. So we're going to get to that. But before we do, I have a big announcement today. And that is because Gusto, yes, they're our new sponsor, but in the past week or so, a week and a half, 2 weeks, that they have been our sponsor, a ton of you have signed up for Gusto. And so it just goes to show how great the service is and how awesome all of you are, and knowing that your people are important and that having a good HR system is an important thing to do. And so what Gusto has done, they emailed me back this week and they said they're very, very happy with how the sponsorship's already gone so far. Lots and lots of people have been signing up and getting on board with Gusto. So what they did is for all the podcast listeners, everyone out there on Business Bootcamp Podcast is going to get a free not just a 30-day trial. It's a 3-month trial. All right, let's get this clear. Not 30-day trial. You get this for 3 solid months, an entire quarter, 100% free. Usually you pay $39 a month plus $6 per employee that you're doing payroll for. And obviously all their benefits, like you get to use their benefit software stuff, like the where the employees can ask for time off. Like it's just fantastic. Well, you get all of it for 3 entire months, completely free, no charge whatsoever. And so I don't know what to say. It's 3 months completely free payroll. Like, you know what you're paying right now, your bookkeeper and your accountant to do this stuff. So I highly recommend you. Gusto.com/bootcamp. You can't get this anywhere else. This is only for our podcast listeners. So I promise you make it worth your time. Check it out. Gusto, that's GUSTO.com/bootcamp. Try it out today. Now, let's go ahead and jump right into this episode. I did this call just earlier today, and I wanted to share with you all. I did about probably 4 or 5 of these with people that were in the range of $200,000 to $1 million in revenue and are wanting to get over the $1 million marker, really begin to scale their business. And so Kenny's a perfect example. Like, he's making $900,000 a year right now as far as gross revenue. So it's a real viable business. He has 12 to 15 employees, like very much even kind of where we're at right now with our company, but we're just growing quite a bit faster. We're growing at a rate of about 100% a year, whereas they've been about 10%. So we're trying to see how can we get his pest control company to really scale up, grow faster, and do that through online and offline marketing techniques. So without any further delay, let's get Kenny on the show. He is the owner and, used to be a tech, has moved himself up to the owner of this pest control business out of Cape Town, Massachusetts. Here we go. So tell me a little bit about the company, kind of where you started. I know you have a couple other partners and stuff, so kind of give me a little bit of background so we can kind of have some context.
Sure. So I am not the founder of the company. So the company's been around started in 2000, so it's been around for a bit. I came on board maybe 10 years ago, just as a service guy, honestly, with an owner kind of, as the place was getting bigger, looking for someone to kind of be his number 2 man and help him kind of run the place, to which that is the role that I began to fill. So as he's kind of stepping back a little more, and I am, in fact, part ownership of it, I'm kind of taking the reins of this already existing company that I didn't start, and trying to grow it,
Cool. So right now, how many employees do you have?
So this summer, and it's a seasonal business, similar to yours, pest control.
Mm-hmm.
This summer we ran 8 pest control techs out on the road.
Mm-hmm.
Office staff of 2 people, 3 if you include me. I kind of have a floating position, but 2 people in the office, 1 designated salesperson, even though one of the technicians mainly does some selling.
Yeah.
And I had mentioned the rodent cleanups that we do. So I have a separate crew that does that specifically, a team of 2 guys.
Okay. So about 12 to 15, is that safe to say, like when at peak season?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep, that's right.
Cool. All right. So right now you're doing about 900 in revenue, you said. And is that growing over the past few years, or is that kind of plateaued the past little while?
Yeah, every year we're at almost about 10% growth each year. Except like 2 years back, it was, less than 10, it was like closer to 5. But yeah, we do show growth every year.
Okay, cool. And so do you have a kind of a goal that you want to get to as far as number? Like do you what's kind of your goal for the company or revenue, or where are you trying to take it?
I mean, of course we want to hit the 1 million mark, so close you can taste it, right?
Yeah.
We might hit that this year, it's still a little early. But yeah, I mean, 1.5 is the goal in my head.
Mm-hmm.
There's another territory we can kind of expand out. We're out there in a limited capacity, but I feel like there's potential in this other territory that's near us.
Right. So how's your sales person work right now? Like what's your sales process kind of look like right now, Kenny?
So, and this is something that we put a lot of thought into, because we have our sales guys on salary.
Okay.
Because a lot of people in the industry don't do it. A lot of salespeople in general don't do it. You don't want to demotivate somebody by, nothing motivates a salesman more than commission sales,
Yeah.
But in our field, where it's easy to hit people with scare tactics, your house is falling down because you have termites.
Yeah.
There's rats are going to infest the place, so on and so forth. We've had some bad experience in the past with some of that.
Yeah.
And I think, people can tell that we don't go in and strong arm anybody for stuff, and it works to our benefit, we feel. So he's a salary salesman.
Okay. And so what does he do on a day-to-day basis? What does his schedule kind of look like as far as getting people in the funnel?
Right. So he's basically, we line him up, he knocks him down. So much of our business is people call us and say, hey, I have an issue. The office will basically make his schedule for him. And he just goes through the day, does the inspection, checks the house out, and sells them. So he himself doesn't do a ton of, proactive sales work. So in the slower months, we do a little bit of that, but it's something that we don't do a lot of, to be honest with you.
Okay, so really you don't spend a whole lot on marketing. It's kind of like word of mouth. You get the phone ringing, and then from the phone ringing, your sales process kind of starts then?
Yeah, so, a lot of energy and resource goes into online visibility,
Yep.
We recently pulled out of the phone book, which actually served us longer than you would expect, because we have a pretty solid retirement community out in our area. So we got a little more juice out of the book than I would even expect it. But we recently totally pulled the plug out and are just kind of putting all our marketing dollars into online.
Okay, yeah. And when you say you're putting marketing dollars into online, what are you doing as far as spend and where?
Right. So as far as just SEO marketing, this is the first year that I, hired someone who wasn't just a local SEO person and hired kind of a national outfit. And, they're doing stuff like, went through the site, did all the title tag work, updated all the content on the site. They have a system in place now where I'm feeding them concepts and info, and they're making blog posts out of it.
Okay.
So that's the kind of SEO part of it. There's a place, CapeCod.com. It's a local site that posts relevant articles to the area, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And we post like a authority article with them, like a native advertising article, as they call it.
Okay.
Something relevant to the topic, cite me as an authority, link back to the page. We pay Angie's List for, their kind of marketing on their site.
Yeah.
So those are the three main things for online marketing.
So out of curiosity, how has Angie's List done for you? Just out of like pure curiosity on my end.
Yeah, it's done well, man. I've always been kind of like weary of, these review sites where it's like pay to play,
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's worked out well for us.
Mm-hmm.
People in our area seem to use it. It's almost had me, contemplating using a site like Yelp, throwing Yelp some dollars and seeing how that goes.
Yeah.
I was actually going to propose that to you of nowadays where online marketing is kind of where it's at,
mm-hmm.
right? People Google everything, and there's so many different avenues to take with online marketing.
Yeah.
Like Facebook ads. Should I be making YouTube videos with helpful tips? In my world of pest control, I could go on and on forever of here's how you make a fruit fly trap. Here's how you, solve this problem, that problem.
Right.
Any input on that? I was actually curious of what Augusta Landscaping does budget-wise for its online
mm-hmm.
marketing.
Yeah. So really like kind of where you're at, and you're kind of almost to where we're kind of at as far as revenue, almost like we're growing quite a bit faster, but as far as just like revenue wise, you're in that 150 grand a month kind of range ish. And so,
right.
So like the thing is, when you get to that point where we've made the transition in the past year, is now your online marketing, you'll want to switch from a sales driven kind of a model to more of a branding. And so like even I'm looking kind of as we've been talking throughout all of your online stuff and what's going on online. Like first of all, you are number one if you Google Cape Cod Pest Control. That's great. And I like the decision you made to do the CapeCodPestPros.com and have PestPros.com. So it's easy for people to find. That's smart. And what I see a lot of is even on your website is like really good SEO, very fast, all of that, right? And that's why Google likes you so much. What now what I would suggest, and what we've made the transition in the past year, and then what has really been like the kicker for our growth, and will get us like we'll still probably double in the next 12 months as far as revenue, is because we made the switch from sales online to now branding online. And so what I would like to see if I was a customer and I went to PestPros.com is instead of the generic photos on that banner, like that scrolling thing, have pictures of your guys in their uniforms at someone's site, or have a link to a video of a client talking about what you did at their house. Have before and after of like really like you come into some crazy stuff, right? So stuff like that on your website is great. And I like, the SEO is great because you have like pests, and then under that you have a page for every single one of those type of pests.
Right.
And so what I would like to see though is on every single one of those have a video of before and after, or like a 2-minute video of one of your guys with their cell phone even, or one of your managers saying, hey, this is what this job looks like before. We're going to be doing X, Y, and Z. That's 1 minute. The next minute is what it looks like afterwards and how it's going to help the person's house, blah, 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 blah. Because the reason for that is because like if I get to this website, it's too much text for me. And the thing is, if you can show someone in a video, they're going to see what you look like as far as your trucks. They're going to see your uniforms. And this is something really I haven't talked a lot about on the podcast, and that is what we've been doing this year, is where every month I make like a vlog of all our projects. And it's not like super amazing videography or there's no sound. Like it's me with a cell phone or sometimes another camera that I have. Like all of our jobs showing what's going on, how it's going to help the client. Sometimes my project manager will take videos, and we make those every single month. And we put them on Facebook, we put them on YouTube, and it's amazing how many times now when I show up in an estimate, they refer back to a job that I did on some vlog, and they say, "Oh, could you do it? Could you do it like such and such, right?" Or like, right. I saw this, and so it's amazing how that's worked. Like we haven't spent any money actually on online marketing besides Facebook ads this year, but most of our I'd say our actually like online marketing traction has been the stuff we haven't paid for. That's just like the organic people that follow our Facebook page and then share the videos because they like we make them informative. So I kind of balance it between like for instance, tree trimming. I'll show how someone trimmed their tree wrong and how you should do it. So I balance the informative. I balance the behind the scenes. So I'll show like stuff you would never see at most businesses, things like office meetings or like behind the scenes in the office. Like most of our service people, most of the people, your clients that you service don't even see your office people. They just, email them and talk to them on the phone. So like showing them behind the scenes, showing them funny stuff that goes on, like when stuff breaks down and you got to like that is how they're literally, there's people that when I come to their house for an estimate, they've watched every single video. And at that point, it doesn't matter what I say. Honestly, they're going with me. They're not going to get another estimate. They're not like, there's so much trust built up, and that's through branding, right? And so you've done a lot of that through the blog. You've done a lot of that through your SEO. You have lots of content, but like, I think for you right now, what I would be trying to do is on your website, like even I'm looking on earwigs right now on the Pest, like the top banner picture is just like an open field, like of grass. I'd love to see, if you don't have a video, I'd love to see a picture of one of your guys cleaning out an earwigs, nest or a whole bunch of them or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Sure. I'd like to see that. I'd like to see more of you, not necessarily you a person, but like more of the brand culture ingrained in the website, so that like really the big thing here is seeing your guys in uniform on your website, because then when they come to your house, they know what to expect, right? The client knows what they're gonna see, who they're gonna meet. Like I introduce the guys on the videos sometimes. I'll say, hey, this is Raven. He just started last week. He's going to school at this certain place. He's just working with us over the summer. Or I'll say, this guy, he's worked here for 10 years. Blah blah blah. And then what happens is when they show up at the job, they literally know the guys. And you already know people buy from the people they know, like, and trust. And so if they've heard my voice for hours already, talking about the jobs we're doing, I'll show when we have to go back to a client's house to fix something because we messed up. Like I'll show all of that. I want to develop that trust. And so what I would do for now, like just based on what we talked about so far, is on your website, I'd switch from going very sales driven with links and like you have lots of text, which is very easy for Google. I'd try to switch more to a picture centric / video. I don't mean like you need to take away text. I don't mean you need to change it. I just think you can add to it. So right. Like that.
And I think Google likes to see multimedia on your site anyway. I think that kind of helps it rank. And yeah, and you're totally spot on. Videos have been on my mind for so long man, we need to get some videos on there. There's no shortage of content that we could do in our field. Totally. And I'm like absolutely suffering from that paralysis by analysis and trying to make it perfect. And with an iPhone in everyone's pocket, I think it's just got to be bust out that iPhone camera and just film it, right?
Yeah, and I think too, like there's two ways you can take it when it comes to like videoing and things. And one is you become the pest control professional, and that is like you kind of make it for an audience of pest control owners. Like you're telling them how to do things, or you're kind of becoming the how-to guy. That's one way to do it, and you're gonna get way more views online for that because people will be searching for those terms. However, if you're gonna be staying in Cape Cod, and you want to focus on growing your business in that local area, I'd focus on like being very specific to the area, showing where you're at in your community. Like we just got a drone, and one of the biggest reasons I'm going to do that is because everyone likes to see their neighborhood in a drone. And so if I can fly it over and show their neighbors, and then it comes down, and now we just did an amazing, landscaping job at someone's house in their neighborhood. Like, they want to see them. They want to, you can make it more personal to your town, right? Whether that be for instance, on the last vlog, we had someone that's really involved in the local business community, like for government trying to get them to do certain things and pass certain laws. And so I said it right on the vlog, said their name, said, thank you for doing this. And then we were at their site, at their house, doing work for them and all that. So like, it's very personalized to my county, Whatcom County. When we start franchising, it'll change, right? It'll become more like, okay, how do I create content that's going to help all landscape business owners around the whole country to try to get them in my funnel? So if you're
That's interesting. Where when you're talking about videos, and you had mentioned that you run Facebook ads, that kind of segues nicely into a question I wanted to ask you, because Facebook ads is something that I've been thinking about running as my next venture for online marketing. Not so much boosting posts, on my page. I don't think many people really want to visit and like a Pest Pro page, to be honest.
Yeah. Good point.
I think the smart thing would just be show up in their feed, just do some ad spend on it. It's still a pretty good value, based on what you're spending, and you can target the hell out of it on who you're targeting, what your demographic is. And with the videos, there's plenty of room for like DIY type videos, because there are some basic household things that they might not need a pro for. Like I had mentioned fruit flies before, like kind of basic things you can make a little homemade trap or whatever. So I've been thinking about, if I pull the trigger on this Facebook thing, kind of doing the 80-20 or jab right hook idea of putting out these DIY videos on Facebook, and then 20% of them do like a hard sell. Part of me is like, spending ad dollars on just giving out free tips and info without
totally
asking for a sale kind of feels weird.
No, totally.
Is that your approach?
No. I totally get where you're coming from, and that is, I use Facebook ads differently. Like I know where you're coming from with jab, right hook, Gary Vaynerchuk and all that, and like give. This is the thing. When you're showing up in their feed, they're not looking for pest control services, or how a DIY, do-it-yourself guide, right? They're not looking for it. What I would be doing, like a click on that isn't super interesting to me, because they had fruit flies, great, they figured that out. What is interesting to me is a little more specific, like for instance, like you're totally right when you said about that most people don't want to like and share a page from pest control. You're totally right. We don't have it quite as much with the landscaping services thing, but it's not like they're liking a music artist or a restaurant. It's different, like just the whole kind of, what I'm saying, right? And so
it's just not as cool,
Totally.
It's what it is.
Yeah, and when they do like a page, their friends all hear about it, in their feed. And so how I use it more of as a sales technique, Facebook ads, to be perfectly honest, unless there's one exception, and that is when I'm doing a demographic like blitz. And so what I mean by that is, like, we're opening a new location this week. I'm going to do a 3-mile radius around that shop and share a bunch of content. And I don't really care about like them clicking on it and buying stuff. I just want them to know we exist, right? You can't afford to do that 24/7 all the day, every day of the year. I would focus on doing things that are going to get them to your website. And so I'd be targeting, what you really need to do with Facebook ads is you need to dig into your demographics and who is your customer. And so that's where the gold is. It's not like the gold in Facebook ads is the information that you get to mine through. What I mean by that is they know ages, they know demographics as far as income and relationship status, and they know if they've moved recently, like all of that stuff. It's super important. They know if they're selling in their house.
Like, what's your desired action step from your ads? Because I know in your ad you can kind of put in,
I want them to call me.
To like your page, so you want them to call you. So you're putting a call button.
I'm not they don't allow you to put a call button on the, only if you have it on your page. This could have changed recently, because I know they just did some changes, but they allow you to put like contact us, and then that I have them that take them right to our contact us page on our website. So I use it more as a sales funnel to get them to my website. Once you get them on your website, you need to have the Facebook pixel on your website page, so that way you can track all the people that ever show up, and then you can retarget those individuals later because you know that they've at some point clicked on your ad, right? So you can target them differently. However, that's not really the goal. Is knowing, okay, like you've been in this for a long enough, you know, okay, is it homeowners or renters? Is it people that like, are you usually going in there? Like, I'm guessing it's homeowners. Is that right?
That's right.
Yeah, I'm guessing it's people that are going to obviously have a little bit more money in certain neighborhoods as far as demographics, but then even things like, okay, are they selling a house? Like, these are things that you can target on Facebook ads. If they're selling a house, there's a good chance they're getting an inspection. If they're getting an inspection, there's a good chance they're going to get something as far as pest control, right?
What's a realistic conversion percentage? Like, what do you get? Roughly, what do you get
totally.
for someone that actually clicks on your page versus what you put out?
Right. It's super hard. This is the one thing I don't like about Facebook ads. The one thing, and it's hard to determine unless you ask the person. It's hard to determine if they click the call button. What I mean by that is, like, if I got them to my website, great. They click the call button. I need to ask them if they came from Facebook ads or not. Do you know what I'm saying?
Because even so, the pixel doesn't tell you. So the pixel will just tell you how many visitors
to that page. Yeah, right. It's telling you how many people get to the page. It doesn't tell you how many people clicked that call button. Now, I know there is a way to program it in. I'm not smart enough, I don't think, to figure that out right now. But there is a way to
page visit. How is just the raw page visit?
Yeah, that's pretty right. So right now, let me look at it actually. Let me see.
So I know how on par or off I am.
Totally. Where did I go? So I'm pulling up my Facebook ads app, which is really cool actually. Let's see here. So I pay account performance. Sorry, I'm scrolling down here. So right now I'm paying 67 cents per link click. And that ranges, so that's one ad campaign, and that ranges all the way up to $1.31 per link click. And that is going to totally depend on the creative, what I'm pitching, if it's a video that I'm having there, if it's a text, if it's a funny video or a funny picture. Like, every link click is not created equal, right? Like, some link clicks, if I'm doing a hardcore right hook and someone clicks on it, that is worth a lot of money. Because, like, if I literally say at the beginning of the year, do you need lawn care services? And then they click on it, like, that's a really validated lead. Whereas if I'm showing like I do sometimes a funny thing as far as like a guy looks like he's like gonna die over his mower, and then I target like the women and I say, tired of nagging your husband to mow your lawn. Like, some of them will just click it because it's a hilarious picture and a funny caption. That's not as validated as a lead. So like, that's what I've been paying per link click. But like I said, I don't know an exact number of the conversion that then click on call us. This is the thing though. I can make my button say contact us so that I know that their intention is to contact us, which means there's a pretty good chance they're going to click the call button once they get to my website.
Right.
And so go ahead.
So that's the online marketing kind of strategy. If we can pivot to referrals. So referrals is another big chunk of where our business comes from. As far as nurturing the client base, we do like a $25 referral reward to existing customers. Either send them a check or more often just credit $25 off their next service. For sending someone over. You hit it spot on when you said people buying a house, home inspectors. So realtors are big for us because it's tough for us to cold call homeowners with this kind of service. I'm not really, some people do it in our area, but I'm not really big on cold door knocking people. So for the cold calling thing, it's more about lead generators. So, realtors and property managers who I know you deal with a lot of property managers. I was actually curious to follow up with you because I know you had a video way back about how you were, I think it was maybe during your slower season of going with a little welcome package to
Mm-hmm.
property manager offices.
Yep.
Cookies in the whole nine, right? Intro packet. We do a little bit of that, but not a whole lot.
Yeah.
How did that work out for you? Just kind of cold call them.
Yeah,
lead generators.
It's all or nothing on that one. What I mean by that is we got one out of the probably 30 companies we did a welcome package, followed up, made them cookies, the whole bit. Out of the 30, we gave them blind estimates, everything. Out of the 30, we made one contact. It wasn't even to do with the as far like we made contact with everyone, but I mean like one person actually converted to a client. It wasn't even the property that we estimated on, but that turned into almost $200,000 worth of work in the past 8 months.
Right. It seems like when you land one of those, it's worth the effort. So even if it's a low.
Yep. This is the definition of branding, though, right? Like with sales, it's click ratios, it's numbers, it's like how many people can get into the funnel. With branding, it's like it's lower. Like this is just my experience. It's lower conversion as far as numbers wise, but when you get someone, it's solid. Like it's forever. Like a salesperson, a customer, if they're buying today because they clicked on your link that said something about rats, they might be a one-time customer. But if you've educated someone on pest control, or you've educated someone, and that leads me to my last, my something I just was thinking about right when you said about real estate agents. Do you have an office, Kenny? Do you have like an actual? You do?
We do.
Okay. What if you had an open house or like a lunch for all of your local realtors, and then the next day for all your property managers, because you need to segment those out because it's different. An open house, provide lunch, and then a presentation, all value for them as far as what are the for instance, if you're doing real estate agents, why not have them all for lunch? Have a slide deck with some videos, have some funny videos in there of you guys doing work, of doing stuff. Like this would take a little bit of time to like actually make the videos or the pictures, and give them, 30, 40 minutes of the common areas that a house has pest control issues or mold or whatever when they're selling a house. Make it 100% value for them. No right hook. All like, how can they sell houses without having pest control problems, or like common reasons that an inspection comes up. Like, those things. And so you can provide them value. Then for like property managers, you can talk about like how to prevent pests in your apartment complexes or your commercial real estate, and do the lunch and learns. Get 20, 30 of them in there if you can. Provide them lunch. Spend $1,000 on both of those lunches with your staff all uniformed. You're up there giving a presentation. That is branding. Like, you're not going to get a sale like the next day. Like, there's no numbers there you can play. But I promise, like, if you know already that real estate agents are the ones spreading your name, and property managers is a big area I think you could probably grow into, just based upon what we've been talking about, like, because it's volume there as far as like you can get a big apartment complex. And if you get in with a management company that has, like, we just got one in with a company that has like 4,000 apartments, which is like, I think like 120 properties. Like, if you get into a contract like that, like you're golden, right?
Yeah.
And so
property managers are particularly valuable out here because it's kind of unique, because in our area on the Cape, there's a lot of seasonal people. Mm-hmm. It's their summer house.
Right.
So there's property managers that they're just full-time doing residential homeowner stuff, because someone has to watch the house in the wintertime.
And what's amazing about
value.
And what's amazing about property managers, because they're not spending their own money, it's pretty easy to get a lot of their contracts. Like, as far as if someone's like you said, summer home, and they just have a property manager watching it for the winter essentially, or they rent it out during the winter, or if they have a massive apartment portfolio, yes, the property manager wants to make do a good job, but at the end of the day, they're not spending their money. They don't want to go out and get 20 bids for something. They want to take someone that they know is going to do a good job, that has good quality. Like, and if you educate them on those things and prove that you're the expert, like, I don't think there's no reason they'd go to anyone else or refer. Like, a real estate agent, if they refer to a buyer who just had an inspection come back that said they need to get rid of certain pests or there's like rodent issues, they aren't going to like whine over $100 or like 20% increase in price over your competitors. They're just going to go use you. They need to get taken care of right now. So I'd focus on branding, whether it be online or offline. I think the online stuff will help, especially like the one thing you changed is that your homepage, those 4 pictures on top, it should be showing your guys, your uniforms, your trucks, the stuff you do. That's the online branding part, really, so that people can see the people that work there, what they should expect when you come to their property. And then offline, I think, the lunch and learns for the property managers is going to be a big hit. It takes, like I said, one of those people out of the 20 that show up to have the connections to a massive contract, or they are the person that refers you to someone else a year from today that they're a big contract, right? Like branding is a long-term game. It's not the short-term clickbait sales, So that's kind of what I would say. And when you make that switch, it does something to your salespeople, because their conversion rate will go up, because now the people that get leads, they have watched your videos, they've been educated, they either have a referral from their real estate agent or property manager. Like it's a slam dunk.
Yeah. Yep. Cool. That's good stuff.
All right, well, touch base with me, even if if you're able to make some changes to the website, just like send me a link and I'll look at it. But like, obviously you're doing great. 900 grand is great. Nice. That's a real business, and if you have an office staff and the whole bit, like that's awesome.
Yeah,
so
we're doing that thing. Yeah,
it's good stuff, man. Well, yeah, they'll check in with me then. I'll look at it too. I'll like in the fall is kind of when I have more time, so I'll jump in. I go back on a lot of these calls.
After I make some changes, maybe get a few videos under my belt, I'll send them your way.
Yeah, let me know if.
1.5.
Yeah, you got it, man.
That too.
Yeah, and let me know if you do the lunch and learn thing, let me know how it goes, because I've used that. I tell a lot of people to do that for service side stuff. Because you can, and just the main thing with those lunch and learns, if you do them, is make it 110% about value for the people coming. Because if you any sort of sales, they don't like it. They aren't even your end consumer, right? You're just trying to become on their good side, so they refer you. Make it all value for them. Have a great catering. Make it short, sweet, funny, informative, where they're gonna walk away from there having information that they would usually have paid in like a course or something like that. And I think that could be big for you.
Yeah, those are good. I guess so. The only part to figure out is time to do it all.
Exactly, right? Exactly.
That's always the pain point.
Yeah, and then yeah, right. Also with the lunch and learn thing too, I've found it sometimes is hard to get them there. Like sometimes you'll spend 40 hours of going to all their offices just to get them to come, like introducing yourself, saying, hey, we got this great event. You give them some stuff, give them a brochure of what's going to go. Like it'll take some work just getting them all there. Then you got to set up, the day. Like it's a lot of work. It is. But when you make that switch from from sales to branding, I can't tell you how much it helps. Like the sales guy's job gets really easy. And you spend less money on the whole online thing because so many people are talking about you, and then your website sells itself.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, because it seems like there's only so many things you can do online.
Yeah.
You eventually have to tap out at some point, I think, or else you keep dumping money into it.
Right. Yeah. Because the only thing that I have against Angie's List and Yelp and all, I think they are valid. The problem is you have to realize the customer, when they come to Angie's List or Yelp, they're not your customer. They're Angie's List and they're Yelp's customer, right? And so you don't have their customer information. You don't unless they call you or they click a link or something like that. But you can't get them in a funnel. You can't get their address and their email from there. It's all it's Yelp's or Angie's List or some other parties. It's really their customer, right? So really, if you can get people on your website organically through your Facebook and videos, that's where the gold's at.